Welcome, everyone, to Survivor's Residuum, where her story is in the making. The technical definition for residuum is a substance or thing that remains or is left behind, in particular, a chemical residue. I like the geology definition because it gets to the heart of this interview series. The geology definition of residuum is a term used to describe the material derived from the in-place weathering of bedrock. Depending on the type of parent rock, residuum can vary in texture from a coarse, gravelly material to clay. According to vocabulary.com, it is something left after other parts have been taken away. Synonyms are balance, remainder, residual, residue, and rest. Wherever you are listening right now, let's pause the recording, re-listen to the definitions of residuum, and then continue to listen to the interview through that lens. And I have a very special, and I say this all the time, but everybody's special, but everybody has a special place in my heart. But I have a very, very special guest on today. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody your name, your occupation, or whatnot, however you want to describe that. And do you consider yourself a survivor or surviving?
Mm. My name is Ella Burks. I am retired, thank God,
Mhm.
and I am a survivor.
Survivor. Okay, we're going to dive into that and tell you the reason why I asked that question. We sat down with another of one of my friends who is a survivor of cancer, but there are so many types of cancer. There's so many different journeys, and everybody has a unique situation. But I want to talk about first why you are a very special guest. We were just talking about, if I could say, we were just talking
Yeah.
about your ex-husband. Um, I knew your ex-husband and I knew your daughter.
Mhm.
I knew of you. We went to the same church, but it wasn't until just recently that we really developed a close relationship.
Yes.
And what I discovered about you, two things that I really like about you. You do not get embarrassed by much of anything.
No.
On top of that, like, there's not much people can do to offend you.
No.
You take things in stride and you keep it pushing.
Yes.
That is very hard to come by, and it makes you a gem because you know that, like, what you see is what you get. There's, like, a genuine element that comes with that. That is one thing. The second thing is you really know how to pray.
I am a prayer warrior.
You really know how to pray, and for me, I think that growing up, what we think a prayer warrior should look like, and I think I can say this because you
Yes.
don't get offended by much. It's like we think that this person is supposed to be all pious and whatever it may be, but you're secure. You're like, I went to God about it. This is that. Those two things to me, not being offended and just being so sure in your walk, is like something that really stood out to me and what I found out about you. And I want to say that I feel like, some weird circumstances got us being closer, and I feel like
Yes.
when I don't see you, I'm like, there's something missing. There's something really missing. So I'm so happy to have you on. We're going to do this kind of in a story form. I'm going to ask you some questions, like, about your diagnosis, your treatment, but then also we want to just break it up a little bit so it's not monotonous. And you have a wheel. I'm going to have you spin the wheel.
Okay.
And then whatever random number comes up on that wheel, I will ask you a random question that corresponds with that. You lived for how many years before you were diagnosed with cancer?
Ooh, I was in my 50s.
You were in your 50s.
Yeah.
And so for me, I almost forgot that you even dealt with that because I felt like it came, it went. Again, we weren't always in the same space. So
Mhm.
it came and went. You're still here. We're good,
Praise
right?
God.
But there's a journey that went with that. So take us to the beginning. When you find out, when you're diagnosed, how did life go from there? How did you find out? Who did you contact when you found out? What was going on?
Or I have to go back to when I was a teenager. I wasn't a Christian. I knew there was a God. Always knew there was a God. And I didn't go to church or anything like that. I
Mhm,
just knew there was a God.
mm.
And I was watching TV one day and I heard him as clear as day. You're gonna have breast cancer. It's gonna be in your right breast, and you won't die from it.
Wow. When you were a teenager?
When I was a teenager, yeah. And so it was funny how not funny. The way it happened was I went for a flu shot,
Mhm.
and my doctor was like, "You haven't had your mammogram."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Ah, yeah, whatever."
Mhm.
And she's like, "No, I need you to do your mammogram." And I was like, "Okay, but I gotta get to work, so it gotta be quick." My mind was just on work. It wasn't on me or the mammogram. Took the mammogram.
Mhm.
2 days later, I got a phone call from my doctor. I said, that's not good."
Mhm.
And she said, "We need you to come back in."
Mhm.
And so she said, "We need to do another mammogram."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Okay." And I went in and sitting in that room, in that waiting room, I knew
Mm.
then.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I started crying. And she's like, "Well, we don't know what's going on." I said, "I do."
Mm. And you remembered.
And I remembered that's when he brought it back to my memory.
Mm.
God is so good. He waited. He
Mhm.
didn't let me deal with it the whole time.
Mhm.
It's just he brought it back to my memory when it was needed.
Mm.
And so they did the mammogram, and we was waiting for the phone calls with my son and my daughter-in-law.
Mhm.
And they called me and they told me, and to be honest, I cussed.
Mhm.
But
That's another thing, y'all. She real honest. Real, real honest.
I mean, God knows, so why am I gonna lie to you?
Yeah.
You know? So, everybody kept telling me before that, "It's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen." And I was like, "I know it is. God already told me."
Mhm.
And it did.
Mhm.
And so from there, they wanted to wait 2 more months before the operation.
Mm.
And my daughter Jamie's like, "No, that's
Mhm.
not happening."
Mhm.
She says, "God's gonna make it happen this month."
Mm. Mhm.
And I'm not a prayer warrior.
Mhm.
And sure enough, it did.
That month.
They called me 2 days later and told me they had an opening.
Mm. Wow.
So we went in, talked to the doctor. He thought we were crazy. He did. I have 3 children,
Mhm.
Evelyn, Damien, and Jamie.
Mhm.
And because we was in there making jokes.
You know how y'all are.
He was like, "Do you guys know how serious this is?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "But God got it." I said, "We're not worried about it."
And then what do you want me to do? Sit here and boohoo? Like, do they want you to cry? I
Right?
mean,
It was like, it is what it is.
mhm.
I knew that I wasn't gonna die from this.
Wow. That's
God
amazing.
God told me, so it's like, let's have some fun with it. Why be sad?
Right, right.
You know, when you have a guarantee from God,
Mm,
come on.
mm,
But it wasn't until they mentioned the radiation that
mm,
all my kids got quiet.
mm,
They were like, "What? Radiation?" And he's like, "Imma give y'all a minute." So he stepped out. I was like, What's going on?
mm,
What happened to the fun?" And Jamie's like, "Well, you didn't tell me we was gonna have radiation." I was like, "Radiation, chemo, all that. All that's coming with me."
mm,
I said, "But God got it."
mhm.
And Jamie's like, "All right." And so the mood picked up a little bit, not much, but it picked up more than it had got summer really, really depressing.
Yeah,
And I was like, I can't have that."
yeah, yeah. We gotta bring it back
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So the day of the, operation, all 3 kids were there.
Mhm,
When Jamie's my youngest.
mhm.
I was the oldest, Damien's in the middle, then Jamie. When I woke up, Jamie had my whole life planned for me.
Mm.
She's like, "This is what's gonna happen. You're gonna go to Sacramento with Damien," but I live in Vallejo.
Oh, so she made that decision.
Jamie, yes, Jamie, she was not playing.
Let me tell you guys something real quick, just interject. Jamie is her birthday is a day after mine, okay? So if you know my personality, you know who we talking about. We just get things done.
Yeah. She's like, "You're gonna move with Damien. Imma stay at your place. Um, Evelyn's right there if you need her. Damien's gonna take you to your appointments." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you."
Wow.
You know, I hadn't thought about any of that.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about
Wow.
how I was getting chemo or, whatever.
Mhm.
But, moved to Sacramento,
Mhm.
saw the doctor, and he's like, "We can't give you chemo or radiation yet."
Mm.
I'm like, "Why?" He said, "You still have some in you. You still have
They did the
cancer."
operation already.
They had done the operation,
Okay.
and he's like, "You still have some, cancer still in you. We want it all out."
Mm.
And my doctor in Vallejo was like, "It's just a little bit. It should be fine." He's like, "No, all of it comes out."
So my question is, isn't the operation to get the cancer out,
Yeah.
but then the radiation and chemo also get it out? So why is it that they didn't get it all out? Was it they didn't know or they saw afterwards they had to go back in? What is the decision to go back in again.
My original doctor was gonna leave that cancer in me,
Oh. Mm.
and to show you how God, because God told me, "You're not gonna die from it."
Mhm.
The doctors in Vallejo
Mhm.
was gonna leave it in me. The doctors in Sacramento said, "No,
Wow.
you have to go back in and get it out."
Mm.
So I had a second operation.
Mhm.
The second operation scared my kids because I couldn't come out of the anesthesia,
Mm.
and, they removed all my lymph nodes on my right side.
Mhm.
But God kept his word because
Mhm.
he didn't let that cancer stay in me,
Mhm.
even if it was just a little bit.
He said it's just a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, so God was looking out for me.
Mhm.
Even to the medication
Mhm.
that I had. I'm jumping, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Even to the medication that I had.
Mm.
The first time I took chemo,
Mhm.
let me go back to that. You're there for 6 hours. I think it's 6. Yeah, 6 hours because each kid had 2 hours with
Mhm.
me. They tell you that, you're gonna get groggy, you're gonna get dizzy, you're gonna
Mhm.
get sick.
Mm.
None of that happened to me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I was actually walking around because I
Mhm.
got bored. If you know me, I have to I'm a very active person.
Mhm.
And my nurse is like, "You're gonna fall." I'm like, "Girl, me and my I be walking around." And she's like, "You're different."
Mm.
That's God.
Right.
The medication, I call it a cocktail,
Mm.
is where, I have to inject it in me.
Mm.
And the first time it gave me too many white cells,
Mhm.
so I ended up in the hospital.
Mm.
So she adjusted it.
Mhm.
Then it wasn't enough, white
White cells.
cells, and I ended up back in the hospital.
Mhm.
So she tried something. She says, "Imma try this." She says, "I don't know where that came from, but Imma try this." And I looked at her and went, "I know where it came."
Mm.
Everybody knew. All my doctors, my nurses, they knew.
Mm.
It was me and God. And, she's like, "I know, God." I was like, "Yeah, right, God." Because it was so out of whack, she
Yeah.
said. She said, "The numbers were just so weird."
Mhm.
And it worked.
Wow. The
The
combination of the
combination.
cocktail that they had
Yeah.
to give you so that it wouldn't be too much white blood cells or too little.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. She was like, "That is just so weird." But,
So from the time that you were diagnosed, when was your first surgery? Then you started chemo. When did the chemo end?
ooh,
What's the time period? Were we going on a year, 6 months? And just, estimating when you moved with your son,
it was about altogether 9 months.
9 months.
9 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in that 9 months, you had a few setbacks, the white blood cell, but you had this vision or this thing that came to you as a teenager.
Mhm.
So maybe in other people's situations, it's the unknown. I remember I was interviewing somebody. It was the unknown, right? It was the unknown, unknowing what's going on, what's going to happen. But because you were told you're going to have cancer, this is where it's going to be, and you're not going to die from it. Did you feel like, okay, I'm just ready to get this over with? Or were you still sitting in the moment and dealing with the sickness?
When I went to the hospital the first time and they was talking about I had too many white cells, and they were freaking out,
Mhm.
and it kinda freaked me out,
Right.
and I have to admit that I let go of God's hand on that one,
Mhm.
and he had to remind me. I was laying up in the bed, um, and this lady next to me, her daughter was with her,
Mhm.
and she was playing this song over and over again. It was really irritating me,
Mhm.
and then God said, "Listen to the words. It's called Healing is Here."
And it was irritating you.
Because I really wasn't listening to the words. She just kept playing it
Just
over.
playing the same song,
And I
yeah.
was like, "Oh my goodness, I wish she would stop." And he's like, "Listen to the words."
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite songs,
Mm.
"Healing is Here." Couple of times I will admit that I got scared and God had to put me back on track.
Mhm.
But 99% of the time, I was trusting him.
Mm. Do you think that your you said that the guy was like, "You guys are crazy, you're laughing and stuff," but because of your understanding of it, do you think that that assuaged your family's feelings of, like, sadness? It was because you knew that you're gonna go through this for a time and it's gonna be over. Did your family align with that belief?
They did.
Okay.
Yes, they did.
So your kids were just like, "Okay, we're along for the ride. We know this is not gonna be the end."
Unless they was hiding it.
Mhm.
And I will admit, okay, so, because I lost my hair,
Mhm.
and I wanted my kids I was losing my hair.
Mhm.
So I got my kids together,
Mhm.
and I was like, "You guys are gonna cut my hair off for me."
Mhm.
And they each was taking a turn,
Mhm.
and Evelyn couldn't do it.
Mm. Yeah.
Evelyn couldn't do it at first. Damien had to go in and talk to her and,
Mhm.
calm her down, and she came back and she, helped cut me bald-headed.
Mhm.
I was cute bald-headed too. But they 'cause they were raised,
Mhm.
you know, to believe in God. My faith is everything to me.
Mhm.
And I saw then that the way I raised them,
Mhm.
that their faith is there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, unless they was hiding it,
Mhm.
Damien would have told me don't.
Mhm.
So would Jamie.
Mhm.
Evelyn would have hit it.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
the other two, yeah.
They just knew this is something we have
Yeah.
to go through right now. This is our season that we have to go through right
Yeah.
now.
So, like I said, I don't know if Evelyn was, hiding or not, but
Mm.
her faith was there.
Mhm.
Because I ended up at her house maybe like the last 3 sessions
Mhm.
of my, radiation,
Mhm.
chemo,
So during chemo, I know you said that you weren't sick the first time. You went for several times, radiation and chemo,
twice a week.
twice a week.
Mhm.
How was that process trying to eat? And what I know, what I don't understand about the healthcare system is that you have someone on chemo, but then you tell them they can't eat fruits and vegetables. You have someone on chemo, but then you tell them like that this is going to cause you this because you don't have enough white blood cells to fight off. So you should just eat meat and you should eat this and that. What were your doctors telling you?
None of that,
Okay.
none of that. They told me I wasn't gonna have an appetite, and I didn't.
Okay.
I was a junk food junkie back then, so it was McDonald's for me,
Mhm.
and McDonald's was horrible.
Mhm.
I tasted nothing but sodium when
Mm.
yeah, so I couldn't eat McDonald's.
Mhm.
Mustard became my friend.
Mustard.
Mustard.
Mm.
Everything had to have mustard on it in order for me to
Was it
eat
the
it.
tangy what maybe the vinegar, the tangy in it that kind of helped?
Maybe, but like I said, mustard was my friend.
So they didn't give you a regimen that you could
No.
so what I had a friend who went through chemo
Mhm.
twice, back to back, and a friend of hers who was also going through chemo gave her a juicer. And so we were like, "Okay, I'm gonna get this right for you, like, we're gonna do this," but they had put this fear in her about fresh fruits and vegetables not being washed appropriately or whatever it may be, and that could cause because your immunity is down
Mhm.
to fight off anything that would come in, and so they were encouraging her more to eat stuff that I felt like could have caused her cancer. So, that's why I was asking you, as far as the diet, as far as, maybe feeling nauseous or anything, what was your experience with that?
So like I said, the first time it didn't bother me, but
Mhm,
the the rest of the time it was like the day of that I had the radiation, I was fine.
mhm,
I mean the chemo, I was fine.
mhm,
But days after, it was like the 3 days and now I started feeling good, but
mm,
then it was time to go back again.
mhm.
So for 3 days I was sick. First day I was fine, 3 days I was sick, then it was time to go back.
And so it just never ended
It
because you
never
did it
ended.
twice a week.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, did you feel discouraged in that sickness? I know you said you didn't feel discouraged or blanket, about the cancer. Like,
Yeah.
we know this, we're gonna get through this, but was it a hard thing to deal with, or was it more like, I'm sick right now, I don't feel it, but I'll be fine better, or, I'll be fine later on.
It was a hard thing,
Okay.
and that was because like I said, that was because I veered from God, his trust, in my opinion.
Well, I mean specifically just the food thing, not the diagnosis. It seemed like you had faith going through that.
Yeah,
And I know you wavered a little bit, but
yeah,
we're humans, right?
right.
But I'm saying with the treatment, I know
Mhm.
nowadays they have things that help people not be completely sick, but I feel like the treatment sometimes is almost worse than
Oh,
having cancer.
it was. Yeah,
So that's what I was just
yeah,
trying to
okay.
figure out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. The treatment was horrible.
Mhm.
Yeah, it did a job on my body.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, because 'cause it's been what, 8 years almost?
Wow.
And my hair still won't grow back all the way, just as far as it'll grow.
It's been 8
It's been 8
years.
years.
That went by so fast.
It did. It really did, though.
That's why I look at it like I almost forgot. I really almost forgot. Jamie told me you got diagnosed, and I was like, "Oh, wow. Oh, wait, what?" That's crazy. But it just went by so fast. I felt
It
like it came, it went,
went, yeah.
and that's it.
It's like I blinked and it was over.
We're gonna use this time to go ahead and go to the wheel and pick a random question. We have a database of random questions about this subject. And let's see what you got there.
4.
Number 4. All right, let's see. All right, number 4. What does remission mean to you? And how has your life changed since receiving the news that your cancer is in remission?
Hmm.
That's a hefty question there.
Because of, and I'm not bragging on me because this is all God.
Mhm.
Because of what God told me,
Mhm.
I never really looked, how can I put this? I never really looked back. Um, I've always stood on my faith,
Mhm.
even though I wavered some.
Mhm.
So when they told me that I was cancer free,
Mhm.
they didn't tell me something I didn't know.
There you go. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
You knew from jump.
Yeah.
And even though you had times of, like, this human, discouragement, you knew from the time you were a teenager.
Yeah.
And it was confirmed when you were diagnosed.
Yes.
So, this was kind of like a cakewalk in comparison to a lot of people who get kind of, like, blindsided
Yeah.
by something like this.
But I will admit the hardest part for me is when I have to go back and sit in that
Mm.
waiting room.
Mhm.
So my girls come with me.
Mhm.
Even though I know that everything's gonna be fine,
Mhm.
I still I haven't let that waiting room go yet.
Yeah, it's the waiting.
Yeah.
Hmm, that's deep. I can only reference what I know, but I have another friend where the same is like, "Oh, I'm going for my checkup."
Matter of fact, mine is next month.
So that part is like, mm,
This time, I'm okay.
that's good. So you said this time you're okay. You're
Yeah,
not gonna need them to hold your hand.
not this time.
This is 8 years in. How long do they ask you to continue to come back for checkups? Is this a lifetime thing? Or is it they say, "Hey, you're gonna need to come check up." What is it, every year or every
Every
6 months?
For me to be every year.
Every year.
Yeah,
Do they say how long?
it's just like a mammogram every year.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a remainder of your life
Mhm.
thing. And so going back to you were diagnosed, you went through the treatment, now it's 8 years later. This podcast, Survivor's Residuum, is about people, regular people going through extraordinary things. And yes, they've gone through it. It's done. It may be over. Some people still think they're surviving. Others call themselves a survivor. But there's a residuum that's left over. And you were talking about your arm. You were talking about that they remove your lymph nodes.
Mhm.
This is something that remains. Even
Yes.
after it's done, this is something that remains as something that you have to deal with. What are other things, including that, if you can explain that, what are some physical effects that you still have after the treatment and
I
chemo?
have a compression sleeve for my, right arm, my hand, and I have to wear a compression bra.
Okay.
Um, s That's it for
And
me.
what is that
Oh,
for,
my
if you can
hair
just
won't grow.
explain to the
Um, because my lymph nodes have been removed,
Mhm.
I have no circulation.
Okay.
So the, compression sleeves help with the circulation.
Okay.
And when I didn't know it for I just learned about that, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So, which was sad
Mhm.
because now I have lymphedema
Mhm.
in my, arm and in my breast.
So you're saying if you had known before, if they told you, then you could have done something? Or
It wouldn't be I still would have it,
Uh-huh.
but it wouldn't be as bad
Okay.
because, like I said, for and God again,
Mhm.
because they were surprised at how little I did have.
Right, right.
For 6 years, I didn't wear one.
Did they tell you that that was gonna be a thing? That that was gonna be an issue?
My doctor told me
Mhm.
when
Your
I
oncologist?
yes, but they never told me that I needed a compression.
Mm. Hmm. Well, that's
Yeah,
the treatment for it.
you're right, but they never told me. And
Right.
it wasn't until I, went to a doctor,
Mhm.
I had got a new doctor,
Mhm.
and she's like, "So where is your compression sleeve?" Because she's like, "You have a lot of,
Mhm.
you have lymphedema."
Mhm.
I'm like, "A who and a what?"
Mhm.
I d and she looked at me, she's like, "You don't have a compression sleeve?" I was like, "No."
Mm.
And, it explained to me why because it swells up.
Yeah.
And I was a kindergarten teacher at the time,
Mhm.
and my arm would swell up, and my kids be like, "Teacher Ella, your arm is fat." I was like,
Kids will say whatever,
"Yes, they will."
whenever. Not your arms. Your arm
Arm.
is fat.
Mhm. But, so now I wear it
So let's go back to you talked about you were a junk food junkie. I remember there was a time where, I think we went out to eat or something like that, or we were talking about the foods that we eat, and you said, "Well, I eat all of it." And I'm not ashamed to say it. And now I was just talking to you and you said you're vegetarian now.
Mhm.
Give me a little snippet of like you growing up, the household you were in, the type of food you were raised eating and not to say that, breast cancer is probably caused by something different than other cancers are caused, but I do believe that when you do have disease in your body,
Mhm.
that the food that you eat really can contribute to the disease progressing
Oh,
or
yeah.
regressing.
I believe
So
that too now.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about your diet, what you were used to eating, what your mentality was about what you ate. Now, coming from like, oh, I eat everything to, well, I'm a vegetarian. Let's talk
Working
about
on
that.
being a vegan. Both my parents were from the South. My mother was a cook, my daddy was a cook,
Hmm.
and we're talking pork chops, ribs, greens, Sunday night dinner,
Green beans, potatoes.
right? um, that's what I grew up on,
Hmm.
was soul food.
Right.
But when I was able to make my own money, me and McDonald's was best friends.
Okay. Okay.
And I worked at Schnitzel.
Okay. So you worked in the food industry.
Yes,
It was right there.
right? And it was free.
Okay.
Yes.
Free
So
food is sometimes the best food.
not all the
Not
time.
good for you,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
you don't have to pay for it.
So my coworker Becky found out that she was a diabetic.
Mhm,
And so she wanted to change her eating habits.
mhm,
And I said, girl, I'll do it with you. So she started bringing up food.
mhm.
That wouldn't have feed a kindergarten. And I work with kindergartners. So I used to eat it and then after work, I'm stopping at Burger King,
Mhm,
McDonald's, and
mhm,
whatever. And I made the mistake and bought a ring
mhm,
for the door, my
mhm.
door.
Ring camera.
Jamie caught it. She saw it one day.
Oh, you ordering McDonald's?
I had it. I bought it in the house.
Oh.
And she's like, "So you had McDonald's today, huh?" And I thought I had hit it well. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You had McDonald's today." And I'm the kind of person that if you ask me a question, Imma tell you.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, "So how long have you been doing this?" I said, "I do it every day." The tables literally turned.
Mm,
You know how mothers give you that look?
yeah.
Jamie gave me that look.
Mhm,
And Jamie was like, "You know what?" She says, "I break my neck to make sure you eat right." And she do.
mhm,
She made sure I eat vegetables and she cooked
mhm,
and she started crying. She says, "You know
mm.
what?" She says, "If you wanna kill yourself, I can't stop you."
Oh, wow. Mm.
I was like, "I don't wanna kill myself." She says, "Yeah, you do. You keep eating that junk food, and that's what's gonna happen to you." Oh, yeah. I'm a chocoholic, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I used to sneak in after
Kit
this
Kat
is
Snickers after.
after I found out she had the ring toed on me. I started bringing my purse with me,
Oh, so she wouldn't see it?
so she wouldn't see it.
Wow.
She got hip to that. I don't know how, but she got hip to that. "Yeah, give me your candy."
Mm,
And I just handed over. But, my church went on a fast.
mhm,
They did a Daniel fast,
mhm.
and I had high blood pressure to the point to where I was on 2 medications at the highest.
And this is after the chemo, this is after everything.
After everything,
Mhm,
even after Jamie yelling at me.
mhm,
So we did the fast,
mhm,
and it was new for me because for me, when fasting is simple.
mhm,
You just go without food. You drink water.
mhm.
But they did the Daniel fast.
Right.
So I said, "Okay, let's try this."
Mhm,
And I became a vegetarian for it. For me, they broke it down. They was
mhm,
like, "This week you do this week you" I was like, "Let's just jump to the main part."
mhm,
So I did the whole Daniel fast, the whole 21 days,
mhm,
and I had stopped taking my medication.
mm.
And so my had a doctor's appointment, and she's like, "Oh, your blood pressure's good. The medicine isn't working." And I looked at her and went, "I haven't taken my medicine in 3 months."
Oh.
And she said, "What?" Whew. If she coulda cussed me,
Yeah, I know.
she would have.
Yeah.
She was angry with me.
Mhm,
She's like, "Then wait a minute, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm a vegetarian right now."
mhm.
And she took me off my medicine.
Wow.
She had to keep me on one just in case.
Mhm,
So it's the lowest dose that there was.
mhm,
And I was like, "I feel better. I've
mhm,
lost weight.
mhm.
Imma keep this up."
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So I've been vegetarian ever since.
That's good.
Now, do I cheat every now and then?
Mhm.
I do. I bike ride.
Mhm.
And if I feel that I haven't had enough protein from home,
Mm.
I will stop and get me a burger, a plain burger,
Mhm.
and eat it.
Mm.
But otherwise, yeah.
That's good.
And when I do wanna fall off,
Mhm.
my daughter's like, "Yeah, no.
Mm.
You're never coming back to me. Never."
Does her crying, her pleading, does any of that kind of spark you and, like, "I gotta do this for her"?
No, because I can't do it for her.
Hmm.
It has to be for me.
Wow. I told y'all she honest.
Her crying made me realize what I was doing to myself.
Right. Okay.
But for doing it for her, no.
Yeah. You gotta do it for you.
Gotta do it for me.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel. We're gonna get another question here, and we're gonna spin the wheel twice, so we can ask 2 questions.
Ooh, 9.
Okay, we have a 9. Let's see. I have an 8.
Okay.
We're gonna do 8. Okay. How do you think your experience with cancer has shaped you as a person? And what are you most looking forward to in this new chapter in your life? And it's been 8
It's
years.
been
I'm
8
not sure
years.
how you would describe as a new chapter. When did that new chapter start? But how do you think your experience with cancer shaped you as a person? And it might be different from you because you had a bit of a different experience than a lot of people I've spoken to.
It brought me closer to God.
Mm.
I mean, I know what he did for me.
Mhm.
And even now, I sometimes I struggle with things
Mhm.
and he takes me back to stuff that he did for me yesterday.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I go further and be like, you kept me from cancer.
Mhm.
Or you kept me from dying from cancer.
Mhm.
And so I'll say my walk with him.
Mhm. That's good. That's good. Let's spin the wheel one more time.
3,
3. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced during treatment, and how did you overcome them?
my skin became like paper.
Mm.
And
Paper to the touch, like, or thin?
you couldn't then,
Mm.
then you couldn't put a tape on me. You couldn't put band-aids on me. I remember I had to go to the hospital to emergency
Mhm.
and because I had tore some of my skin off.
Mhm.
And I told the nurse, I said, you can't put a band-aid, that's what tore it off.
Mhm.
And she did it anyway.
Mm.
And so it made it worse because when it was time to remove it, because I
Mhm.
had to clean it every night,
Mhm.
I had to jump in the shower
Mhm.
and my husband had to yank it off
Mm.
because he was trying to do it easily
Mhm.
and I was screaming.
Mm.
And I told him, I said, just yank it off. Just yank it off. He says, okay, I'm gonna count. No, don't count. I don't want to know. And when I said I don't want to know, he just yanked it off and I screamed.
But then you have to go back to the doctor,
I had
right?
to go back to the doctor.
Mm.
And I told what happened.
Mhm.
I said the nurse did it
Mhm.
after I told her not to.
Mhm.
And the doctor okayed it. That's what she didn't do nothing that the doctor didn't okay.
Right, right.
So this doctor, he was listening
Mhm.
and he gave me this honey.
Manuka honey?
I think that's what it was.
Or like the liquid Band-Aid type stuff?
Mm-mm. It was like a paste that you had to like honey,
Mhm.
literally like honey.
Mhm.
You had to dip it in like a salve
Mhm.
and put it on me.
Mhm.
And he said, put it on all the whole everywhere the band-aid's gonna go.
Mhm.
He says, because that's gonna protect you.
Mm.
That was the hardest part for me.
Is that thin skin and
Mhm.
having to deal with that.
Yeah.
So moving into, and I guess this is kind of piggybacking off of what you said, that the nurse didn't listen. A lot of people don't want to go to the doctor. They don't want to get the test because they don't want to hear the results and they don't trust the people that are giving them those results. What was your experience with your team? Like, do you think they listened to you? Do you think it was just like you were another number? How was the care for you? What was the experience like with that?
The nurse in Sacramento, she was awesome.
Mhm.
Her name was can I say her name?
Yeah.
Broderick. That
Mhm.
was her last name,
Mhm.
Nurse Broderick, and she was awesome. Um, the doctors, maybe they were tired by
Mhm.
the time they got to me,
Mhm.
but they were rude
Mm.
to the point to where I had to go street on one.
And you don't want her to go straight. There's no apologies. It
Yeah,
just happens.
because I was talking to her and she was like, "Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Are you even listening to me?" I literally set Jesus down for a minute,
Mm-mm.
and
Mm-mm.
I did.
What'd she say?
I've never had a rude doctor as you.
Ooh,
I said, "This is my life you're messing with."
that's right.
I said, "So when I'm talking to you,
Mhm.
you're on my time.
Mm.
Respect me just like I respect you."
Wow.
Well, I see a lot of I don't care about the other patients.
Mhm.
Right now, it's me and you.
Mhm. Wow.
She didn't see me no more.
I mean, here's the thing. You have 2 choices. After that, you take a step back and you say, "Am I going to change the way I approach things?" Or, "I don't wanna change the way I approach things, so I'm not gonna see her no more."
Right? Because the next week I went and said, "You got a new doctor." I was like, "That's fine with me." I didn't care. I didn't care if I hurt her feelings because she was disrespecting me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not important.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm important.
And you're dealing with I do know I come from a family of people, my mother's a nurse practitioner, my sister's a nurse, my roommate's a nurse. Like I understand the healthcare industry is hard. I understand the pressure that they put on nurses and doctors to just chart. You gotta have all this stuff, you gotta see all these people. But in this moment, you are dealing with someone
Mhm.
who could potentially be dealing with a life-threatening disease. You gotta give some type of care.
Yeah.
You have to figure out the balance. This is not a somebody that just came in for a flu shot. This is not somebody who, you're dealing with a cancer patient. You need to understand what's going on with the cancer
Mhm.
patient. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad you stuck up for yourself. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything else. But a lot of times people don't have advocates.
She had a choice, either me or Jamie.
And so that's what I was gonna ask you. Like you had your children to support you during this time.
Yes.
Obviously, we know you don't really need someone to back you up. Did you feel any time when you were going through your weak moments, did you feel like you didn't have support, or you felt like anytime you needed, you just ring that phone and you had the voices that you need, you had the support that you need?
They were always there. Yeah. So I know I had the support I needed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that it could be a testament to mothers. Not that mothers who raise their children right, there's some kids that still don't show up, but that could be a testament to you as a mother that like you did something right.
Right? That meant a lot to me.
What is one thing you would say as we're wrapping up to someone who didn't get that revelation when they were a teenager? You're going to have cancer, you're going to have it on your right breast, and you're not going to die from it. Someone who is just being diagnosed with cancer. It's a really heavy thing.
It
They're going
is.
to have to go through things. They're going to have to hear reports that they don't want to hear, but they don't have this reassurance that you had. What would you tell them?
They'll trust in God.
Mm,
Go to him
mhm.
because he has the last say so.
And what about the people who feel like when they get diagnosed with something of this magnitude that it's a punishment? Because some people believe that if I'm sick, but I think I did everything right, I'm being punished for something. So how do you tell that person to go to God if they feel like they're being punished for something?
You still would go to God. If you feel like he's punishing you,
Mhm.
ask him why.
Mm.
God, why am I being punished? So he can tell you you're not being punished or you are being punished or
Mhm.
whatever the situation may be.
Mm.
But without going through it with him,
Mhm.
it's hard.
Right. You said still go.
Yeah.
Regardless, just go.
He created you.
Mhm.
Who knows you better than he do?
Right. Knows your body, your ins and outs.
Right? He said,
So
I knitted you in your mother's womb.
mhm. You're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
We're gonna close. I do wanna ask one more question. Going back to the food thing.
Hmm.
You were raised, your parents are from the South, and actually y'all kinda look like my family, so y'all might be some kin to us. But how did you raise your children when it comes to food and understanding that food is medicine? Because I know you're just now making the transition. So your kids were already grown and already had, some their own kids. How did you kinda backtrack with that?
So I raised my kids Seventh-day Adventist. So there was no pork
Okay.
for them.
I was about to say, 'cause, just
I
recently
tried. It
said everything.
I did try the no pork thing,
Mhm,
but the only one out of my kids Jamie don't really do pork.
mhm,
Evelyn don't do pork at all.
okay.
I am not a cook. I hate cooking with a passion.
Mhm.
So they learned how to cook from my mother,
Mhm.
their stepfather,
Mm.
my sister. So they learned how to cook everything.
Okay. So they had that extra kind of they had the principle being Adventist and knowing the health message, and also they were able to cook.
Yes.
No more runs to McDonald's because that's for somebody. Well, the look you giving me.
They're grown, so
They're grown
you mean
now,
oh,
but
no.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of course we did McDonald's. I was a junk food junkie. Growing up, they did get to McDonald's, not like I did,
Okay. Mhm.
but they did get McDonald's.
Mm.
But now, Evan, like I said, Evan don't do pork. Jamie don't really do pork.
Mhm.
Um, Matter of fact, Jamie will cook ground turkey before she will anything,
Mhm.
and chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's all my kids are at the point now, they're eating better. I'll put it that way. They're eating so much better.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's more of like I believe now in 2025, and especially living in California, there's this push to be healthy
Mhm.
and to be active and to do things better. We already kind of talked about this, the advice and what you would tell somebody. I tend to say we speak to everyone on my platform, not just believers. What advice do you give someone who maybe doesn't classify themselves as a believer about support during a time like this?
They have support groups.
Mhm.
Don't be scared to use them.
Okay.
I was just blessed where I didn't need them.
Right. Right.
But yeah, they have support groups. Use them.
Right. Use the tools that are out there.
Yeah.
This platform is for edutainment. So we always leave our guests with homework. And I already told you on the way here, we got to sit down and have another sit down because you got another story that we need to have. And I don't know if it's Survivor's Residuum or it's the other podcast, but we got another story. But I was looking at a podcast, I believe her, and someone was saying that she wrote a book and she just was discovering about her life story, her history and everything. And she said everybody should write a book. That's the second time I've heard that. For my mother's 60th birthday, we went and had this weekend in Chicago, and we went to a museum in Chicago. The man that was there, he said, he wrote a book, and he told us, he said, you need to write a book. That's your legacy for your children. So my homework to you, because you have so many stories and so many things that you've been through and come out on the other end, not necessarily a book, you can, but start writing your legacy. And then come back and check in with us at Noggin Entertainment and tell us what that looks like.
Okay.
She is a poetry writer, ladies and gentlemen.
But I haven't published them.
And she just revealed a little thing. She has also written 2 books.
I haven't published them yet. Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. At Noggin Entertainment, we do passion projects. So come on over here so we can help publish your books. That might be your project.
Okay.
I think it's time. Everybody needs to leave a piece of them. And I think that I would say in my community, especially as an African American, a lot of times I don't think that we leave enough of us. And we talk about history long gone, but this is history in the making.
It's funny because my kids are doing a video
Hmm.
with me. Each kid asked 10 questions.
Oh, that's so cool.
So they're doing a video.
That's good.
Yeah.
They're already started on it.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sitting down with me, telling me your story. And until next time, we'll see you again on Survivor's Residual. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Survivor's Residuum. We will meet here on our YouTube page every third Sunday at 3 p.m. for a new interview of his or her story. And, remember, don't forget to remember to use your noggin. Bye.